This snippet is using SketchFlow and SketchFlow Player to track feedback. My name is Jeremy Osborne, presenting from AGI Training for Microsoft. In this snippet, you'll learn how to add feedback to a prototype in SketchFlow Player, and then import that feedback into SketchFlow in order to evolve your prototype. So you want to get started here by opening the Snowboard Online project, and then, once you've got that open, double-click on the Checkout page in the SketchFlow map in order to see the screen. Now there are two categories of feedback potentially. One could be feedback from a team member, somebody who's already familiar with the project, and the second category could be an outside client, someone who's not so familiar with the project. In this case, we'll use the first scenario, a team member who's already familiar with the project. Let's go ahead and choose Project, Run Project. What this will do is open up our SketchFlow prototype inside the SketchFlow Player. Now go ahead and click on the Map tab and then click and drag to the right if necessary, and then click on the Checkout screen. Go ahead and click on the tab next to the map to open up the Feedback panel. So feedback can come in a couple different ways. The most simple way to add feedback is to actually add your comments inside the feedback pane. So for example, perhaps we'll add the comment, "Can we put sample products and prices inside the cart?" Let's go ahead and click within that feedback pane and type that. Now we can also add some visual cues. If we click on this brush icon here, and then click on a color such as red, now we can actually go ahead and draw on this prototype. Whatever we draw here, by the way, is non-destructive. This is simply a feedback layer that will export. So for example, perhaps I'll put a total line here in order to get my point across. And then I just need to briefly illustrate what else I would like here. Now in the upper left-hand corner in the Navigate section, go ahead and click on the Checkout Successful state. This brings us to this screen. Now if we look closely, we can actually see there's a typo here. We also have a highlighter tool. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and then I'm going to highlight that typo. And again, just to be sure, I'm going to go ahead and then type typo. Now our next step is to actually export the feedback that we created here. We can imagine that we would add feedback to other screens. However, for now, go ahead and click on this folder here and choose Export Feedback. Now you'll see here that you have a space for author name and author initials. You can actually add feedback from multiple authors. Let's go ahead and click OK. And let's save this feedback file to our desktop. We'll give it a good name, such as JO, my initials, and then I'll click Save. So this feedback file is a very small file with the extension .feedback. Someone on a team could then email this feedback, for example, back to you, the author, and then you would integrate this into your project. Let me show you how that works. I'm going to jump back to SketchFlow now, and I'm going to choose Window, Feedback. In the Feedback panel, I'm going to click on the plus sign and choose Add. I'll then navigate to the desktop, and I'll locate that feedback file and click Open. So we'll now see that the feedback has been integrated. So a couple things I want to point out here. Not only do we have the author name, the time and the date, as well as that feedback, but we can also enable the visual cues. So for example, in the upper right-hand corner, we're going to click on this light bulb icon to show the ink feedback. And here we can see the visual cues that the reviewer put in. If we look down in the SketchFlow map, we can see that screens that have feedback, such as the Checkout screen and the Checkout Successful screen, actually have a small light bulb in the upper right-hand corner. So this is another visual cue to tell us that this page has feedback on it. If I double-click on that Checkout Successful screen, we can see the highlighted typo as well as that feedback. So the next step, of course, would be to make any of the changes suggested in the review. So you've had a chance to learn how to add feedback to your prototype in the SketchFlow Player and then bring that feedback back into SketchFlow. Thank you for now. This is Jeremy Osborne presenting from AGI Training for Microsoft.